Hey, hey,
We're back.
babbling
Dabbling
fantasy
fantasy football.
football.
Here we go. We both said it at the same time. That's good. We're locked in.
Perfect. Hope everyone had
I
a fun week 4. We're gonna touch on some waiver wires, but overall reaction from the weekend, Ryan, good, bad for fantasy, or mediocre?
yeah, between my leagues, given there's still 2 games tonight, I think I'll probably win 3 or 4 of them out of 6, which is probably too many leagues for everybody. But in our league, I'm currently losing. However, could have a big night somehow, some way. Maybe Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins. And I'm down right now. There's some high scores again this past weekend. So if you had some big name players, they ended up actually doing pretty well. Unfortunately, the Malik Neighbors news was tough for everybody. But we'll talk about who you can pick up. So how about you, Charlie? You have a good week for fantasy?
No. I think I won in it'll be like 2 out of the 6, and then the guillotine. There's probably about a 50% chance I get chopped this week, so.
Oh, I saw that. I know. Wait, so uh, uh, um,
Ryan, you're cutting out.
you get topped. You're like, oh, do you hear me?
Yep, start over.
Yeah. Let's say you might get chopped in guillotine. Sorry, my team is going to be good, so I didn't really check. But
Yeah, no, I just had Mike Evans get hurt, and then last minute Jalen Warren got ruled out, so had to throw in some garbage players like Hunter Renfrow and Dontavian Wicks to fill up my lineup. Last week I was the highest scorer on the week, and overall I'm the highest scorer, so it just sucks. I'm sitting there. I need Justin Fields to give me 15 points to be safe, so hopefully he can do it.
let's get a good night out of Justin Fields. So I say I don't know how many people will tune into that 0-3 matchup game, but maybe Justin Fields can get you some points. Also, I have Chase Brown in it too, so hopefully he did well. But, um, yeah, those are some. Well, that's unfortunate, Charlie. That's unfortunate.
No,
Maybe
it is what it is.
you'll get
I'll be
back.
rooting hard. I'll be really sad if I get knocked out. But yeah, we've had some really bad performers so far this year. You mentioned Chase Brown, AJ Brown, also has been very bad. Brian Thomas Jr. has been very disappointing. Tedero McMillan. Those are just some names that come to mind that have
Hmm.
all been performing pretty bad. Out of maybe those 4 or 5 we listed, Ryan, is there anyone that you would consider a trade for candidate? Or are they all kind of get what you can for them now type of guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't probably. Well, BTJ, I'm just wondering. I feel like he might kind of be a trade for candidate or like trade away candidate. Honestly, I think the rest of them I'll try to maybe keep on to. I got still some confidence. AJ Brown, also he might. That Philly offense is so weird. They had 0 passing yards in the second half after they dominated the first half. I know AJ Brown's on a winning team, but maybe he wants to go somewhere where he'll actually get some more offensive snaps. But I don't know if that trade's really going to happen. But I think don't like definitely maybe you could try to buy low, but if you have one of those players, I wouldn't necessarily um, really obviously try to just get what you can for them. Try to still invest and get some decent players. I did put Chase Brown on the trade block. In ours. So in our league, which maybe we'll see if there's any offers coming through. But
Yeah,
it's been unfortunate for them so
I'm
far.
somewhat in agreement. You got to hold on. You can't trade low. We'd
Right.
never give you that advice, but AJ Brown's very scary. You just got to hang on. I think Brian Thomas Jr., I have more faith in him having both of them than I do AJ Brown. I think
Okay.
that he's getting the targets, and I think he looks decent when he actually gets the ball, so I'd have more faith in him turning it around than AJ Brown. Tedero McMillan, I kind of like him. The Panthers have had a slow start. I do believe him to have a better second half. And then Chase Brown, if the Bengals are hanging around 500 come December, maybe around the trade deadline, we could mention trading for him because if Burrow comes back and they're around 500, I could see his production ramping back up. But without Burrow
Mhm.
there, I don't like him at all.
No, those are good points right there. The Panthers offense has they've kind of clicked a little bit recently, so maybe Tet will be involved a little bit more. I didn't necessarily watch their game yesterday. I don't know how many targets he necessarily had, but he didn't have any touchdowns I saw. But they they could maybe they'll start clicking here and there. But uh,
Jump into
yeah,
the waivers here.
yeah, let's jump into some waivers here.
Okay.
So
Just wanted, well, three quick injuries. You mentioned Malik Neighbors, Lamar Jackson. Also, they said he's probably going to miss 1 to 3 games. Monitor that. It might not even be none. And then Ricky Pierce saw another hamstring injury. So three
mm,
bigger injuries. So we're going to give you some guys to pick up right here.
yeah, the Lamar one was crazy. So it's kind of tough to see, obviously, him go down. And it was just Cooper Rush was there right away, and I don't know if he'll end up doing obviously super well, but hopefully Lamar's not out for a long time. We'll see though.
Yeah, we'll see. Ryan, who's your top waiver wire guy this week?
My top waiver wire guy as a whole this week, hands down, is definitely Woody Marks, the Texans running back. He is definitely, I feel like, investing a decent amount. He had a good week, or had a good day yesterday. He had 20 utilizations in the fourth quarter as a whole, which is good. He found the end zone too. Joe Mixon is still hurt right now. He might return, but it seems like he might return after the week 6 bye. But Mark's had a lot of the carries yesterday, and like I said, utilizations as a whole compared to Nick Chubb's. Just like he's more of the ground and pound and a little bit slower, and I feel like maybe that's not the league as much anymore as he's kind of older too. Woody Marks says that he has the versatility and everything. So he would be definitely my number one guy to invest in for this week. Fob wise on free agency. It's still just be weary of when Mixon can come back, but at least for and if he comes back to it, they said he should eventually return, but I know at the beginning of the year they didn't know for sure if it was going to occur or not. So, and they have their week 6 bye, not next week, but the week after. So at least for this upcoming week, I definitely see Woody Marks doing pretty well again, and maybe he will be that number one guy in Houston, running back wise. I know we were saying Trey Benson was pretty high last week, and a lot of people invested a ton of fob on him last week, but you know, and he still is around, and he'll probably be fine too. I wouldn't invest as much fob on Woody Marks as I would on Benson. We'll talk about that after. So that's my number one guy though as a whole.
Yep, I'm in complete agreement. The only thing I'll add will be at the end when we talk about the fab. But for now, other running backs, should we stick at the running back position before we jump around to others, Ryan? Or
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. Sorry about that. Yeah,
no, no,
let's
no,
do
it's
it.
all good. One other name that comes to mind, there's not a ton out there. Woody Marks was the big one, but Rashad White. I don't know what they're saying with Bucky Irving's injuries. You're gonna have to monitor that as Tuesday comes along because Rashad White is the clear RB2. And we saw before Bucky even got there last year that Rashad White was a very good back, especially for PPR leagues. So we'll touch on what to do for Fab with him. Maybe I'll look into more of the injury by the end of the show here, quick. But he is an RB that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, no, that's another good one. Maybe just other quick ones to list. Kenneth Gainwell had a good week. I know, obviously, their main guy though, Jalen Warren, was hurt, so Kenneth Gainwell ran all over the Vikings. So maybe a potential ad right there, and then Kendra Miller had a touchdown as well for Saints. Xavier Scott. Those are low ballers if you have really deep leagues. But uh, the ones that we were mentioning there, Marks and then Kenneth Gainwell too could be up there. So
Okay. I like those names. Yeah, deeper leagues for sure. While you were talking, though, I did look up Bucky's injury. So he came off the field. I don't
and
think he
Rashad White.
came back on.
Yep.
Um, but they haven't said for sure if he's going to miss any time. But if he does miss time, we can talk about Fab. Um, But I think one other name that you didn't mention would possibly be Tajay Spears. There's a
Hmm.
good chance he's available in some leagues, and he's supposed to be coming back in the next 2 weeks. I think week
Yeah.
5 is about, but he'll be splitting time with Pollard, so I wouldn't be putting much down on him.
No, that's still a good call out right there too. Yeah, obviously keep an eye on Bucky Irving. So, um, good calls there. Do you want to talk about some QBs here, quick, Charlie?
Oh, QBs. Okay. I wasn't thinking QBs, but I can bounce around.
Do you have any?
Wait, what'd you say?
Do you have any QBs you would just think about maybe out there that had decent performance? Or I know we've talked about them in the past weeks though too. So
I mean,
it
in two
wasn't really
quarterback
a
leagues, the guy
lot.
that's most likely out there, I think, is Jackson Dart, but I wouldn't spend a lot on him. Looking at like he has a pretty good matchup this coming week at New Orleans. Otherwise, yeah, I don't like a lot of them. Do you have any quarterbacks that come to mind?
No, I was just gonna say Jackson Dart was really kind of the only one. So, and we will see after tonight if Tua is like maybe back. I know in some leagues he's definitely out there too, but I wouldn't invest really anything in all in any of the QBs. But Jackson Dart did have a pretty decent day, and he has a nice matchup coming up, and he's a running guy. So that was it. Wide receivers, you gotta just you can touch on a few here, Charlie, if you have. I think you had some. So and that
Uh,
Romeo Dobbs one that they were listening to you a few weekends ago, they definitely would have had a great Sunday night last night with the racking up 27 points. So that was really good.
I feel like every single waiver episode I mention Romeo Dobbs' name, but no one seems to pick up on it. But yeah, he should definitely be rostered. He's their clear one right now, I'd say.
Yes.
But touching on, I'll just touch on the Giants guys. I was really thinking Wandale, but looking more into it, Wandale Robinson and Darius Slayton should both be picked up with the injury to Malik Neighbors. They both saw 4 targets in the past, especially in PPR leagues. Wandale's been the guy who's getting all the targets, but I think the better overall wide receiver, I might say, is Slayton. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say both of them could be decent pickups. I think the Giants offense as a whole is going to get worse without Neighbors, but they're two guys that should definitely be rostered now.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially the neighbor's injury that this obviously boosts both of them quite a bit. I mean, again, obviously you talk about Romeo Dobbs. I think he's just a big one. If he's still on your waivers, I would pick him up. And then again, maybe in a deeper league, Luke McCaffrey on the Commanders. He just had 3 targets, but he also had another touchdown and 21 yards. So they're targeting him a little bit more in the end zone in the red zone area. Just kind of somebody maybe to keep an eye on in a deeper league with him and Marcus Mariota figuring it out a little bit. So,
I
but
agree.
don't invest much. So,
Yeah, with the wide receiver,
uh,
Green
um,
Bay, I was just gonna say, the Green Bay does have a bye, so he might not pop up on
yeah,
your waiver wire. So just go scroll down a little bit because Romeo Dobbs is probably the top wide receiver pickup for me. So yeah, but he's gonna be on bye, so you're gonna have to scroll down for him.
no, I agree. That would still be a great pickup on by. So, tight end wise, I really don't have a whole lot after. I mean, Hunter Henry was the only one from last week, and hopefully, if you didn't listen last week, listen this week and pick him up if he's still out there somehow, some way. Even though I assume he might not be. Theo Johnson is just maybe a one to if you are desperate or have like the Bears tight end or the Packers tight end or sadly like the Steelers tight end. So just some other guys maybe for replacement if you need. Jake Tonjes too. He also didn't do bad with the touchdown last week, but and Kittle's still out. So, but this if Hunter Henry's out, get after him. If not, there's some other replacement ones potentially. Do you have any input for tight ends, Charlie? Or
No, I mean there's not a lot of good names.
yeah,
Hunter Henry's probably gone. He is available in our league, surprisingly. So maybe we
Uh,
can touch on some fab options, but like and a guy that probably is available that I think is worth a pickup if you need a tight end is your start of the week 2 years 2 weeks ago, Brenton Strange, back-to-back
uh,
weeks seeing 7+ targets. So I like him as a PPR option for tight ends in a little bit of a deeper league. Let me
yep.
just run through some defense matchups to pick up, and then we'll touch on Fab. The Lions, they're probably picked up, but they play the Bengals. The Cardinals play the Titans. The Browns get to play Carson Wentz and the Vikings, and the Giants get to play the Saints. Those are just four defensive matchups that come to mind.
Yeah, those good streamer ones right there. So hopefully, obviously, the Browns one doesn't work out too well, but just personal wise, even though I think it might,
Yeah,
due
they
to
just have such a good defense that.
yeah, Miles Garrett, Mason Graham, their defensive front is crazy. So
All right, Ryan. Woody Marks, how much Fab we going?
I would do probably upwards of 40% five on him, 35, 40. That's what I would do of what you have left. So how about you?
Yeah, not as much as I would have put on Benson, like you said. And the
Hmm.
fact that there's the question mark, like you said, Joe Mixon coming back. And I think that that's just going to make that backfield all messy, even if Woods does perform the first few weeks. And their offensive line is brutal. So I
Yeah.
don't like him for that reason. So I'd say, yeah, around 40. Yeah, I think that was a good number that you had there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go much higher, maybe cap it at 50 is probably what I'd do. But so that's kind of my thought on Woody Marks. It seems like we're pretty aligned on that. Other running backs, nothing really, probably. Depending, obviously, well, Bucky Irving won't be ruled out by tomorrow. So,
Wait.
uh,
Let's touch on if Bucky for some reason does miss, how much does Rashad White go for?
that's a good question.
Assuming it's like a 1 week injury.
Let's say, what do you think? A 1 week injury? Okay. If it's 1 week, I 10%.
Yeah, 10 to 15, especially if you got a bye week. If you got someone like
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs where you need a RB to
yeah.
play.
If there's something, yeah, not a whole lot, but um, those
Some
are
of those
good.
receivers.
How about those Giants receivers, Charlie? What would you put on some of those or those two guys?
I think it's
So
similar to Trey Tucker, where you probably have someone decent already. It's going to be around the same level as them. So 10 to 15 if you really need a wide receiver. I don't think that they should be much more than that. What do you think?
that's you on that. Not much. I bet Wandale's already been added and dropped probably in your league, honestly. So it'd be time to add him again. Seems like he's always on the waivers. Every time I would maybe do 10 on him and
Yeah.
Slade and maybe just a little bit more. So
I think someone picked him up in our league like right before the week started, so it's kind of crazy. Maybe they knew injury was bound to happen. But
yeah, that is crazy.
one other one, just because you mentioned it, Hunter Henry, if he's available in your league and you're hurting a tight end, say you got like a Mark Andrews as your starting tight end, or just someone you're not happy with, how much should you go on Hunter Henry?
I want to actually, I probably do a little bit more than the Giants receivers. I would do maybe about like 20% of your fab on that, maybe up to 25, but it's still tight end. I wouldn't try to do a lot more than that. So, as we still again saw with Jawan Johnson and how hyped he was at the beginning. So,
Yep.
how
I
about
think
you? Do you think
I'm
that's a
in
little bit too high? No?
uh no, I don't think so. Because I think that we've kind of the tight end roles have been developed and you know who's who at this point. And so if you have a bad one, I think you probably are lucky if Hunter Henry's still out there. So I think that's a good amount to go for him. And I think Hunter Henry will
Mhm.
have up and down weeks. So I wouldn't be spending a crazy amount on him either. I think he's turning into one of Drake May's top targets, but he had a plus matchup this last week. So yeah, I'd say around 25 to 30 at max.
So,
I
no,
think we
Hunter Henry.
got through most
Uh,
of it. The only thing else I was going to touch on is Falcons have a bye, Bears have a bye, Packers have a bye, and Steelers have a bye. So you're going to be without Bijan, Swift, Dunze, Jacobs, Jalen Warren, DK Metcalf, guys like that. So be prepared. You might need one of these waiver guys to help you out.
That's true. And QBs too, like Caleb Williams in our guillotine league. So gotta get one of them. Maybe I'll get Marcus Mariota if you get out and Jaden Daniels is still hurt. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
getting into
I need what would you say?
let's say get into bye weeks. But yeah, Justin Fields is gonna have a big game for you tonight, so you'll be fine.
I'm very nervous. That game starts about 30 minutes for us, so we're
Yeah.
excited. But I think that's all I had, Ryan. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, not really any other inputs for today. Not a whole lot of waivers still, aside from Woody Marks. So, and give us a listen. We'll have our starts out later this week. Appreciate you. Our starts were pretty good last week too, and we'll talk about that more later. Or this past week, they're pretty good. So potentially, as long as Bo Nix actually performs well. So
I agree. Like and subscribe. Send
yeah,
us a question so we can answer it for Friday's show. We appreciate you listening.
we really do. Thank you.
All
Have a
right.
good one, Chuck.
You
See ya.
too, Ryan.